You are listening to the Old School Movement podcast with Daz, Chris, and Steve. You understand?
Hey, another episode of Old School Movements. I'm Mr. Daz, the Dazzler, and of course we have Chris and Stacks in the house as well. You guys all right?
Yeah, man. Good.
Yeah. Okay, so the last one we had, 80s action heroes and villains, man. That was a great first part, right?
Yeah, man.
That was good. Yeah, we had some 5 good actors there. We've had some good messages, and I think we've reminded some people of some films that were back out in them days.
Yeah, all the films they started. But today, ladies and gentlemen, on part 2 of 80s action hero and villains, we've got another 5 actors that we're going to talk to you about. It's just based on our memories, the films that we remembered for them. A lot of them had a vast arrays and vast careers of loads of films, but we're going to go to the ones that we know. Some had 1 or 2, some had hundreds, but hey, we're just going to go through our experiences in the films we remember. So the first action hero here. Now this guy, lately there's loads of memes of him, he's the toughest guy in Hollywood, toughest guy ever. Yeah, the different. And do you think this guy would have beaten Bruce Lee in a real fight?
Nah.
And he didn't even in Way of the Dragon, because we're talking about Chuck Norris, man. Chuck Norris.
You could see that fight in Way of the Dragon.
Yeah. That was.
I'm sure he actually trained him, didn't he?
Yeah. They trained together, but Chuck Norris was his own dude as well. He
already had his titles and his martial arts before Bruce Lee came about. Yeah, he actually like Bruce Lee, actually formed his own style of martial arts.
That's right. What's it called again?
I'm not sure, but something like Chuck.
I think
it's got like his name in it.
Chuck Kung Do or something.
Chuck Kung Do.
Chuck Kung Do, man. Chuck Norris just took it to another level.
Chuck Kung Do.
I don't know anybody that knows Chuck Kung Do.
No. But
his
style to me was a bit more. It seemed like, I know he was jiu-jitsu as well.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
So it was more judo style with his Chuck Kung Do style mixed in.
Is that what it's actually called?
Judo and a Brazilian.
It was Chuck.
It's
something.
on those lines. It's
along those lines. Chuck Kung Do is almost it.
Yeah. So he was a bad man at his thing. Chuck Norris was. So he started off as a.
He started off in the Air Force.
In the Air Force, that's right. US Air Force.
Yeah. I think that's where he started to master his martial art skills of the judo. Adapted it into his own style. Yeah. And then obviously once he left the military, I think he got into opening up gyms. I think
that's
a gym,
right.
Teaching people.
Yeah, he trained celebrities like Steve McQueen.
That's it. Yeah.
I think so did Bruce Lee. So there was a connection.
Yeah, that was the probably link there, wasn't it? Yeah. I think Steve McQueen said to him, you training actors and celebrities, you could make that a business rather than just having your gym. So I think he sort of told him go into that route, start getting into acting yourself.
He was well into his Chuck Kung Do, man. He was he was formulated his Chuck Kung Do. He's still mastered. But he has these rules in his Chuck Kung Do as well. He has a code of honor.
There's 10 rules, isn't it? I don't know any.
10 codes of honor. He's got one that is I will develop myself to be the maximum of my potential in all ways. That's one of his saying in his Chuck Kung Do. And another one he's got.
He actually lives by these himself, doesn't he? This is like his mantra sort of thing. Yeah, but it's part of his students' mantra as well.
Yeah, he's got. I'll forget the mistakes of the past and press on greater achievements. So he seems like a very peaceful, calm dude. You know what I mean? Not like the memes that people make him out to be. Well, he's been hanging out with him, Bruce Lee must told him to.
It's true.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee told him to be water, and he's like, I'm taking it to another level. I'm making
it's like a finger.
Yeah.
Definitely. Got them same sort of sayings.
Same sayings, and so he first started acting in 1969, man. So he's been around the block for a while. With a film called The Wrecking Crew, but his first big break was in 1972 when Brucey Boy approached him and said, "Would you like to be in the Way of the Dragon?"
One of the main villains, one of his main opponents in Way of the Dragon.
Do you know his name in that? Yeah, do you know his name in that film?
I don't, No, I don't even. I don't remember seeing it.
He
just bumps into him in the Coliseum. Some random looking dude who doesn't look like he'd know.
That? Who are you screwing at?
Yeah.
Let's fight, and the cat's the referee.
Yeah, there is a little cat in it. Yeah, and they fight.
Yeah.
But looking at Chuck Norris, he doesn't look like your typical martial art looking dude, does he? He's like.
Well, in those days, you hardly saw white guys.
Hardly any American actors.
So being in that film, he was probably the first European guy I saw in a kung fu film, probably. Do you know what I mean? That film came out in '72, before we were born.
Yeah.
So that was, it's probably one of the first times I saw him, and it was a good fight, even though it's obviously choreographed.
It's one of my favourite Bruce Lee films, man. I love that fight.
When he broke his arm, it's like he really broke his arm.
Yeah, it's that's a wicked fight. I love that fight. It's a wicked scene.
Yeah, it's a wicked scene. But that film isn't one of my favourite Bruce Lee films, but that fight scene.
Yeah, the same here. It's one of my top fight scenes, but not one of my favourite films. But I think for that Hollywood Bruce Lee's, it's good. It's not one of my favourites though, but it's good for one of them Hollywood Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think I saw that a lot later though. I think I saw that after I saw Enter the Dragon, and
of course.
I think I already saw some other Chuck Norris films.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon was the first film we all saw.
Introduced you to Bruce Lee,
and then you kept on watching his films, and then you bumped into that one.
But I think I knew Chuck Norris already. I remember seeing some Chuck Norris films.
I don't think I did, but I remember in the video shop we used to see a film called The Octagon.
Yeah. I was going to chat about The Octagon later. I used to like The Octagon.
And we always saw the front cover, and I think it just had a polo neck or something. Yeah, and it just said The Octagon, and I thought, okay, what's that? But I don't think I saw the film. I don't remember seeing the film.
No, I remember it had ninjas that I think it was like 8 ninjas that he had to fight or something. Or I can't remember the plot, but I just knew it. I knew it had ninjas in it, and I liked it for that fact.
I just remember seeing the video cover in the shop, man, in 1980. That film came out. And then it was Lone Wolf McQuade as well.
But do you remember The Force of One as well? Because that was a 79. Yes. But I remember. Yes. I'm sure we saw that around the same time as The Octagon, so it must have been early 80s.
Yes. I remember 81,
that 82 maybe. The Force of One and The Octagon. They were wicked, man.
And then he linked up with the Cannon Group.
That's when it blew up.
Because Cannon Group was like, you knew what kind of films you was getting with the Cannon Group.
Yeah.
And like, you'd always get a Chuck Norris one, and I remember seeing the front cover for Missing in Action. Because around that time, you had Commando, Rambo, and Chuck thought he would get involved with the Vietnam vet saga.
Just sort of popped up Missing in Action.
Yeah, and it's Missing in Action. He just come in between it. It's like, I'm getting in here. I'm just jumping in. But I don't remember seeing it in cinemas in the UK. I just remember seeing it in
just straight to video, I think.
Video, yeah.
And that ended up having a part 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah, it's a trilogy. And then '85, you had Invasion USA. I remember that. Front cover, he's got 2 Uzis in the front. Yeah, and a ripped jean shirt.
Plane or something behind
Invasion USA.
Yeah.
And then he had Delta Force.
One of my favourites. I like Delta Force.
Yeah. And you remember Code of Silence?
And Code of Silence, that wasn't a canon. That wasn't a canon.
That wasn't a canon.
Because by now he's Canon's top. Canon's top actors, and he's pulling in big bucks, isn't he? But he done a little side thing. I remember Code of Silence. I like that, man. Code of Silence was good.
That was Orion Pictures. That was
Orion.
I remember seeing that logo before RoboCop and Top Films. There was a sly production company that you knew it was action time.
You knew you were going to get some action, but you would just know that if someone's saying there's a Chuck Norris film coming or it's on, you knew it was going to be a good old action film. Like you knew there was going to be bare explosions and shooting and stuff. It was a story I like as well. One of his early films. I don't know if you mentioned it back in '78. Good Guys Wear Black. I remember we saw it again.
Yes.
But we saw it 4 or 5 years later in the early '80s.
Yes. Good Guys Wear Black, man.
That was the second film that he made. And again, it was another hit, and it propelled him to be the star. But no studio wanted anything to do with it. None of them wanted to release it. So Chuck Norris himself and the producers, they funded to rent theaters to show the film for X amount of days or whatever. And from them funding it themselves, it done really well. So $1 million budget brought in $18 million on the $1 million.
If you believe in something, you got to push it yourself, innit?
Yeah.
So good on them, man.
He went into like some TV roles as well, didn't he? But like, I don't know if it was 89.
Yeah, they had a couple of TV.
89 or 90. Yeah. I didn't really get into him, like Texas Ranger thing, wasn't it?
Texas Ranger.
That's it. Yeah, I don't think I can remember watching any of them.
I
tried at the beginning.
It was like Highway to Heaven, but Chuck Norris. He was just going through. It was just a Walker Texas Ranger that's helped people out. And
I'm thinking like a MacGyver sort of.
It's one of those kind programs. It's a kind program.
Oh, it weren't action.
It was kind action. It was kind action. You know, my granny, God bless her soul, she loved that program. She had a timetable.
Yeah.
Texas Walker was a jam. You know, with that in Barbados, that show I think was on every night.
Yeah, I love them kind of things.
And it could be 80s episodes, or it's about she still watched them. That was her jam. That was her jam. Dinner, Texas Walker, Feet Up.
Yeah,
that was her day.
Did she used to like MacGyver back in the day?
Yeah, anything action, any explosion in the beard. She was watching.
Explosion in the beard or a moustache. Into that.
But he wrote several books as well, on martial arts. And
I'm gonna say martial art books. I don't know of any other books. He done on politics.
On politics and Christianity, you know, so
really?
It was very spiritual and religious, man.
Last film appearance he's had was in 2012 in one of them Expendables. Again, I should be into the Expendables considering the actors that are in it, but I can't really get into them, man.
Yeah. Was he in part one?
They passed it.
Yeah, they're all a bit past it. They're not.
But the thing is,
he done Expendables 2. I heard was his last film appearance.
But the thing about Expendables, that is a typical film that came 30 years too late. If that was made when they were all in their prime, it would have been like the Avengers of the 80s. It would have been just like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It would have been ridiculous.
I think we mentioned it before. Another reason I didn't like it, because a lot, like, it's meant to be, like you say, all of the stars, but there was loads missing that I loved, and they weren't there. And there were some other people that were in it. I thought, I don't remember seeing you in any film, man. I remember seeing you like in a comedy or something, but not in like action. So that was another thing that put me off. Like you say, if that was 20, 30 years earlier, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess there's a market for it, but they managed to make sequels.
Oh, definitely, I don't know.
There are some people
Someone's
like
watching
to see 60-year-old dudes running around. You're welcome. Nah. Okay, that was Mr. Chuck Norris. You know his real name? His real name is Carlos.
I do know.
Carlos Ray Norris. That's his name.
Ray Norris.
Yeah.
Born
in doesn't have the same ring about it, does it?
No, it doesn't. So, you know.
You can fuck with Carlos Ray Norris, but you can't fuck with Chuck Norris.
No, Carlos Ray Norris, he sounds like a murderer, man. Carlos Ray Norris was found last night by police. Yeah, man. But no, Chuck Norris, big you up, man. You know, he was part of the 80s scene for us. And
big action actor.
Big action actor. So, our next action hero or villain.
Actress,
yeah.
This time, first one.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Fierce. Very fierce.
Amazing woman.
No, she was a model, a singer, an actress, record producer, and that's the girl with the high top, Grace Jones, man.
Girl with the high top, of course. Yeah, the high. I forgot all about the high top.
Yeah,
Grace Jones. I love Grace Jones. I didn't
realise she's actually like listed as a Jamaican model, actress, record producer, songwriter. I always thought she was American. I knew she, she'd come from Jamaica, but I thought she was like, American.
See, I know she was a producer.
Yeah, she's done a lot, man. Born in the 19th of May, 1948. She moved to New York when she was 13.
Yeah,
from Jamaica.
Yeah. Along with her siblings, and some parents and that.
Yeah, but her parents are musicians themselves. So that's where she got the musical talent and background from. So and then she got a music career with Island and teamed up with Sly and Robbie. And they produced, tunes like Pull Up to the Bumper, My Jamaican Guy, and then she had hits like Slave to the Rhythm.
Big tune. They were massive in the UK, innit? Them two.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of them two big in the UK.
She fitted the era because, she was one of the regulars at like Studio 54 when the disco scene was about, and with her modelling, it's only a matter of time that she was going to get into acting, man, because her presence, as we were saying, like it's just striking. The
look that graced the covers of Vogue, innit? She was on Vogue magazine and
it's striking. But when I first really noticed her, film-wise, was in 1984, man, when she starred as Zula.
One of our favourites.
One of our favourites. She just reached out and grabbed it.
How'd you get your men? Just reach out and grab them. That's what I got scared of her then. Man.
Conan the Destroyer, man. She was just because after seeing Conan the Barbarian, he was like, okay, there's a part 2 coming out. Let's see what it's all about. And he had some more, friends with him to join him on his merry band of slashing people up. And Grace Jones was one of them. But her introduction, I think she was like being held captive or something.
Yeah.
guys tried to have a row with her, and she just took them all out. And
she took him, yeah.
And then
Arnie was
Conan
like,
jumped in, helped her
Yeah.
out, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll move with you now." And he's like, "No, you ain't. No, you're not going with me."
You're joining the
then,
band.
Yeah, and then she goes, "Nah, I'm coming with
She
you."
followed them for ages, didn't
Yeah,
she? She followed them. She wanted to be with
yeah.
them. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember watching that film. I remember us renting that film out. The days where you still had the cover of the film,
Yeah.
the box of the film, and
took
I
it
remember
home
seeing-
with you.
you took it home. Yeah, and also, do you know the villain in that film was Sarah Douglas. She played the woman in Superman 2. You know the three
Oh,
guys.
Zod.
Nan.
Yes,
and
she
Superman.
was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known it
Sarah
from the
Douglas.
name, but as soon as you said it, now I
Yeah.
picture the face. Yeah, she
She was the main villain in that kind of. But Grace Jones, she was brilliant in that film.
she was wicked in that. Yeah.
wicked. That was a good part. She's got such a fantastic body, to see her in that Conan gear.
Yeah, to see her in the barbarian look,
Yeah,
it suited her physique,
suited
didn't
her.
it?
Suited her, man.
And it was good a year later, we're in the cinemas. That was a film that we had to, like you say, rent out on video. But
Yeah.
about a year after that, we're in the cinemas watching a James Bond, and she's in James Bond. She's in View to a Kill.
That was the first time I saw her
Mayday.
with James Bond.
Yeah.
That first time you saw it at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Either that
I'd seen her on top
or-
of the pop. She'd been on top of the
yeah,
pops a
put
bit.
up to the
by then.
bumper.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd seen her on top of the
remember.
pops and that. I was going to say
Yeah.
later as well, like she'd been on some chat shows by then as well, and this is another reason I was
Yes.
scared of her. So
Yeah.
I felt a bit sorry for the host of the chat show. I thought, they don't know how she's going to come out, because sometimes she would come out and she would be crazy, man.
Yeah.
But that was what's
Yeah.
wicked about her. You just wouldn't
Yeah.
know what you're going to get.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
did have
It was
that
good
sort
TV.
of.
It was good TV.
I had that
unpredictable,
anxious
didn't it?
feeling for the presenter. As
Yeah.
oh man, how's she going to be with you?
The interviews are unpredictable, but it was great television.
Great television. Looking back at it now and looking at her now, what an amazing woman.
Yeah,
What
she
an
stuck
amazing
up for
woman.
herself, man. So big
Yeah.
up to you,
Yeah.
Grace.
Oh yeah.
Love
yeah.
you.
Do you ever remember when it hit the news that her and her then boyfriend Dolph Lundgren appeared naked on Playboy on the front cover?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
It hit the news.
Yes.
Both
Yes.
on a naked
Because
shoot, didn't they?
he used to be a bodyguard,
Yeah.
and then he started dating for 4 years. Yeah.
She got him a role in View to a Kill. He was a KGB
Yes,
bodyguard
that's
in
right.
that. Like no one really recognised it. He wasn't even
Yeah.
listed in the credits, I don't think.
Yeah.
But she got him a little
Yeah.
part in that.
Yeah. But Dolph Lundgren, eh?
Damn.
Yeah. But apparently, I used to hear that she used to bully him and that. And
Yeah, I think I heard that as well.
I think he used to bully
Right.
most people. Yeah.
Even Daraga, like he can handle it.
She reached out and grabbed him.
Yeah.
Well, she'd scare the life out of me if I met her, I think.
Yeah. No.
Amazing woman.
Amazing woman. So yeah, Grace Jones. I'll say we saw her in Mayday and View to a Kill, and then she was in. Do you remember a vampire film she was in called Vamp?
Vamp. Yeah. She was
Vamp.
like the
I remember
main-
the front cover. Yeah,
I just remember her on the front cover. Yeah.
that's right. That
Yeah,
was,
a
I
good
think that was
front cover,
about
like a retro-y sort of.
yeah.
For back
yeah.
in the 80s, it was like a
Yeah.
70s look, sort of. I think.
Yeah, and about 86 that film came out.
Yeah.
Vamp. And then later in the 90s we saw her again in Boomerang.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she had a really good role in Boomerang, man. Her character was really good for that. But it would be nice to see her again, man, in film. As I say, she's got
Yeah.
such a striking presence.
Yeah.
It'd be
She has
good
gone
to
a
see her
bit
again.
quiet,
But she
hasn't
still
she?
tours with her band. She still tours with her band. She's still doing her music and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Grace Jones.
Good
That's
to
why
see-
you're
good
in
to
our
see her on
list.
film. Good to see
Yeah.
her on film again. Definitely
No?
deserves to be in there. Great actress.
Yeah, so that's why, Grace, we're putting you in our favourite 80s action heroes and villains. So our next 80s action hero or villain, this guy, he didn't get on a plane, but he drove a black van with a red stripe.
He didn't pit in a fool.
He didn't put in a fool, and his one movie appearance blew him up. That's Mr. Lawrence Terrar Theroux, other known as Mr. T. He calls himself Mr. T because he actually changed his name to Mr. T.
I like the story. Yeah, I like the story
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
his name.
What's the story? Tell the story.
This is how Mr. T got to be called Mr. T. After his father left when he was 5, he shortened his name to Lawrence Terrar. In 1970, he legally changed his last name to T. His new name, Mr. T, was based upon his childhood impressions regarding the lack of respect from white people for his family. Mr. T says, I think about my father being called a boy, my uncle being called a boy, my brother coming back from Vietnam also being called a boy. So I question myself, what does a black man have to do before he's given the respect as a man? So when I was 18 years old, when I was old enough to fight and die for my country, old enough to drink, old enough to vote, I said I was old enough to be called a man. So I self-ordained myself Mr. T. So the first word out of everybody's mouth is Mr. That's the sign of respect that my father didn't get, that my brother didn't get, and that my mother didn't get. I like that when I read that. man.
Yeah, yeah.
That was big.
And that's Mr. T, man. You got to give me respect.
He's the
So yeah,
youngest out of 12 children.
the wizardry is coming back from Chris. The wizardry, the wizardry, the wizardry. You see what I see. You think what I think. The wizardry. Ladies and gentlemen, I was just about to say.
He was the youngest of 12 children. I didn't realize he was from such a big family, man.
Yeah.
That's bad, isn't it?
It is bad. Young,
But they were
yeah.
like religious. His family, like
Yeah, very religious.
he had a
Very
religious
religious.
family, wasn't it?
Yeah. But he studied martial arts and played American football and wrestled in his early days.
And military police in the U.S. Army.
Yeah,
as well, wasn't he?
yeah,
He left,
yeah.
He left. So I think he got a scholarship to a university off the back of his football skills. I think.
Yeah,
So he-
but
so
he was going to join the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, but he didn't
But
make
he-
it.
he had a
through some
knee
injuries or
injury,
something.
yeah.
knee injury. That
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Completely
But-
different path would have gone down, isn't it?
Hey,
Yeah.
but check this out. He went on to be a bouncer and then a bodyguard
Yeah.
for
the
celebrities,
stars.
for like Muhammad Ali, Steve McQueen, Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, Diana Ross.
Diana Ross.
So you know he was getting about. He was
Joe
even
Frazier and Leon
Joe
Spinks,
Frazier,
two big
yeah.
boxers, like, and he's their
boxers,
bodyguard.
yeah. But apparently he was even asked to assassinate someone.
Right.
Really?
Higher.
I think I
Yeah.
do remember hearing that
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but obviously
I
he
remember
turned
hearing
it down. I ain't do no killing. But then in his 20s, he went on to like a reality TV show called America's Toughest Bouncer.
It was a bouncers TV
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where Stallone first?
Yeah, and he
he
won that. He won that competition. And
kicking through doors and chucking through
yeah.
people through windows.
Yeah. And then the last round was boxing, and that's when Sly went, "Oh, who's that guy on the TV show?" And
It's
then-
interesting, man.
Yeah, it was interesting. I like his hairstyle. And then he got in for Rocky 3, and that's when we saw him on the TV. So Rocky 3, man, you know,
He was wicked
as we
in
said
that.
before in past podcasts, that was before the A Team, so that's when I first saw him, was in Rocky 3, and he just looked the right part. He just, I don't think Stallone ever thought of anybody else to cast in that role. I think he just,
Yeah.
you know, saw Mr. T and goes, okay,
Saw him and thought,
I'm going
he's
to put
the
this,
one.
he's going to be the guy in the film.
Yeah.
You know,
he
because-
suits it wicked.
Yeah. Clubber Lang. But you know Clubber Lang's first name, the character's first name?
Nah, I always thought it.
James. James Lang.
James
It doesn't sound too
Lang.
scary, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No
James
wonder you
Lang.
don't hear that much. James
Yeah.
Lang. You don't hear that much. Clubber Lang sounds a lot better.
Clubber Lang, man. Clubber Lang. He can't
He was a
be
wicked
called
character.
James Ryan around. But nah, as soon as you saw him when the credits rolled, but it was showing the parallels of Rocky's success
yeah.
and Clubber Lang's hungry training.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Rocky being on the Muppet Show and running
Yeah.
around and that, and Mr. T's
Or
just
Clubber training hard.
just training. You know, watching fights and that in the ring, camera just zooming in on his face, looking angry with his suede brown jacket and feathered earrings.
His tassels.
just popping out Vex and just training again, man. But he has some classic one-liners in that.
Like
film,
killed off
man.
Mickey in it. Was it him who killed off Mickey?
He didn't
Pushed
kill
down
him.
the-
He didn't
he-
kill him. He, you know,
He
the
aided them.
scramble. The scramble happened, and you
They
know,
weren't playing dominoes, D. They weren't playing dominoes.
you know, there was a commotion, and Mickey, you know what I mean? It just happened.
Mickey's hard to take it.
Oh, God.
It just happened. But every scene he was
It's
angry.
true. It's true.
Every scene he was angry in that film.
I'm
Man.
always angry. We
Um,
wanted to take Stallone's missus home and show her a real man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? Apparently, when it's at the premiere of that film, he took his mother to see it, and she walked out at that scene.
Really?
No.
She said, "I
Oh,
didn't
that's
raise you.
You
I
to
didn't
be
raise
like
you
that,
to be
yeah.
like that,
Be
son.
like that. Oh,
I'm just
that's
acting,
big.
mama. I'm just acting." But no, she walked out.
That's big.
but that scene's one of the funniest scenes. Only in Hollywood you'd get away with doing that scene. But in real life, are you gonna let some guy just yell to your missus, "Hey woman, hey woman"? I bet you stayed at home at night. wishing you had a real man. I tell you what, you bring your pretty ass up to my place, I'll show you real man. Would you wait for him to say that? To then go, oh no, where's man? You get involved from when he said, hey woman. Come on, man. But only in Hollywood these things happen. That is not real at all. But no. Yeah, so he was, you know, he as you said, his mum walked out when he was using those naughty words about someone else's wife in a movie. Did you ever hear the tune he made? Mother, there is no other.
I think I have heard
mother.
it, you know.
So treat her right. Mother, there is no other. Mother, treat her right.
It sounds like some early MC Hammer tune, man.
And the song, like, he spelled out the word mother, and every letter meant something. Like, it's the oven and the burning heat, where she stood and made sure I had something to eat. That was the lyrics. And that song was written by Ice-T.
Really?
Yeah.
It does sound like Ice-T saying it now.
Yeah.
Can imagine
That was written by Ice-T. If you ever see that video again, watch it. Does he look so uncomfortable?
I'm going to have to now that you've mentioned it.
I do remember the song.
You think this is Mr. T, man? Like,
yeah, Mr. T. I'm sure he done one for kids as well. Like,
this is for kids.
That was
this
for the
song's
kids.
about respecting your mum, yeah.
Mate, I do remember it. I remember he went. He got pushed into this route where you're this role model for kids.
You know what? Because he had the cartoon.
Yeah,
TR3, tough like me, Mr. T.
Yeah.
He had the toys. Remember TR3? He done adverts for oil, innit? So he was the thing. Biscuits. He had lunchbox. He had lunchbox. He had everything.
Slow down, boy.
Mr. T. But yeah, listen to Mother. Listen to Mother.
Do you remember another film? I'm sure I saw this between A-Team and Rocky. There was a film called Penitentiary 2.
I remember that film. It was a prison.
The prison film. He was in number 2. He weren't in 1. He weren't in 3. But I think the same lead was in all 3. Leon Isaac Kennedy. I like that film, man. I remember him being in it, and I'm sure that come out before the A-Team. I'm sure there was a couple of things we saw him in before the A-Team come out.
It must have been. It must have been. What year was A-Team? That was like 84, 3 or something like that.
4, I'm thinking, and that was definitely 82. Was Penitentiary 2 was 82. Penitentiary 2 was like one of the early blaxploitation films, like, following on from the 70s, and it also had, I remember it as well because it also had Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters in it. It's one of the only other films I think I've seen him in. I remember it from that. But I remember it was like there was the 3. I remember watching all 3, but 2 was good because Mr. T was in it, and he was himself. A lot of films he played himself, didn't he? He was always Mr. T.
Yeah.
It's only Rocky and the A-Team where he played a character.
Yeah. So but A-Team, man, he was the star of that. Everyone knew that. George Pepper didn't like it. They didn't get on, but you watched the A-Team for Mr. T, really.
Exactly.
If there was, I swear there was an episode where he wasn't in it, and this felt strange. I'm sure there was an episode before.
Yeah, I think there is.
And it's like, this ain't the A-Team.
You just don't want to watch it.
Yeah. Because and even though he didn't really punch people up, just threw them around, and he jumped in slow motion in the air, and
it's
kicked
true,
down doors.
I never saw him punch once. But
he was the driver, wasn't he?
Of the camera, innit?
He just had a screwdriver and put things together and stuff.
Build things, or you'd see him like say throw someone, or he'd be driving and building, making.
Throw someone in hay. Hay would be around.
Yeah,
it'd just be a bale of hay to land in.
Yeah,
nice soft landing.
Hey, sucker. So, Mr. T, man.
I think in a way though, the A-Team sort of done well because of what Mr. T was doing as Mr. T. If you get what I mean, in real life.
Yeah.
Because he was about, wasn't he? He was doing all these other bits that made you want to watch the A-Team more because, like I said, because Mr. T was in it. A-Team's got a lot to owe for Mr. T, I think. Man.
Yeah. And but we didn't see him for ages after that, like film-wise.
I think he fell ill, didn't he?
Anyways, yeah. But he came back in the UK, with the Snickers ads later on, a couple of years back, and then that World's Craziest Fools. Yeah, get some nuts.
I forgot about
World's Craziest Fools on BBC Three, and he was also the voice of the black cop in Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs. Have you seen that?
Was
I
he?
did hear that.
Yeah.
I like film,
And the black cop in it. Yeah.
Mm.
That's the voice of Mr. T. So No, but Mr. T, world class guy, world class man.
Yeah, big action star, isn't he, man? Like you say, he's only been in a couple of films and
Yeah,
smashed it
but
in the
he has
80s,
such an
but he
impact,
was
man.
massive.
He was, yeah, it's like,
One of
and
the best toys I had.
yeah, exactly. The Mr.
The
T
Mr.
figure,
T
man.
toy was
The
wicked.
Mr. T toy, the accessories
yeah.
you got with the Mr. T toy,
Accessories, yeah.
mate. You got
M16
M16 in a
toolbox,
toolbox.
and guns with ammo.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
Come
what you
on,
needed.
My
And then
T head came off though.
it was that rubbery head, isn't it?
Yeah,
Probably like He-Man head.
Yeah, He-Man head. Yeah. That sounds good. Anyway.
Do you remember he had like a little tattoo as well? Did he on his arm? I'm sure it said like mum or something.
No, it's a TR3, I think it says. It might have said mama on the other side. Kick her right down his leg.
Always for other.
Yeah.
Mr. T's wicked.
So treat her right.
I ain't cook my food.
Yeah.
W's for washing. She does my washing. Wash my socks. Cleans my shoes. I want to hear that song now, man. I have to go find this song.
Yeah,
Mr.
you gotta find that. You
You
gotta
have to
find
post
that.
that up,
Seriously. Big you up, Mr. T, but don't rap again, yeah?
Definitely. Yeah.
We love you, but don't rap again, brother. So yeah, Mr. T, you know, love you. Next we got this actor. He's been acting from
time.
die. like he was in World War II.
He was in World War II. He was in World War II. He's in the
Yeah.
Navy, wasn't he? US Navy.
He was a gunner in World War II.
Yeah.
So
Like 93 movies to his name, I think, up until.
yeah, look, this guy's been in action in westerns, you know. But we first saw him in the 80s, you know, in Michael Winner's Death Wish, and that is Charles Dennis Brzezinski. Now Brzezinski, right? because he's of Lithuanian descent.
Right.
Yeah.
So his parents moved to America and changed his name to Charles Bronson, so it's more American.
He only learned to speak English like in his teenage years. He
Really?
was fluent.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
spoke Russian and Lithuanian before that, and
that's
picked
right.
up English a bit later.
Yeah. And you would never know, would you? You know, but
Yeah, you wouldn't know. I always thought there was something not odd about the way he looked, but I don't know. He looked different.
something European about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the heavier set features, the dark hair. He didn't look like the Hollywood stars of the day, you know, that he was in, especially in one of my favourite movies going back to the 60s, Dirty Dozen. Sorry. Yeah,
Right.
back in 62 is Dirty Dozen. So, you know, looking at the lineup in Dirty Dozen, he just didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I know
about
what you
him,
mean.
You know what I
I know
mean?
what you
He just didn't seem like. So I only recently found out, I thought he was American. You know, I recently found out he was
Yeah.
Lithuanian.
Yeah.
Like,
But
That's
his
right.
acting career started in 1951, and so he was doing, as you're saying, like war films and that. But he was known first for his westerns, like the Magnificent Seven, 1 and 2. That was just on the other day actually, and I saw him in that
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven. Yeah, he was even in an episode of Bonanza. So he was all about the Western town. You know what I mean? He was the Western man. Do you know? He also turned down Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More.
Really?
Yeah.
The films that made Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
were first offered to Charles Bronson, and he didn't like the script, so he didn't take them.
Have you ever heard about some other films that he was considered for? Like,
Yeah, Superman.
What?
He was
Charles
considered-
Bronson
he
was considered before
as
Christopher
Superman in
Reeve.
the original. Yeah, the original 78 Superman. They thought
He was
in-
considered. Yeah, Charles
And the producer
Bronson.
said, "No, he looks like he's too much from Earth. He looks too earthy."
He's
was
too
also
earthy. We don't need
He
the
was
guy.
also considered to be Snake Plissken. from
Snake in Escape from
to
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that one, but
You could probably get away with that, but
yeah, but,
Superman,
but
no way,
Superman, nah.
Superman.
That's
this
no way.
was Superman.
Even when Charles Bronson was young, he looked old because
Yeah.
it was that squint. It was always like the wind was blowing just on his face.
In
Just,
the rugged face,
no one
yeah.
else's face had the wind blowing. Just him. Him and Clint Eastwood just had wind blowing in their eyes
Someone blow it
constantly.
If they were sitting on a bench, you think they were sleeping.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you might bump into. Oh no, he is awake. His eyes ain't shut. He ain't gonna bump into that wall. But
he featured a film with Elvis Presley as well. You know, Kid Galahad, big Elvis Presley film. He was in that as well. Which
he's been around. He went around for time. But it wasn't until the 80s where I really noticed him.
Yeah.
You know, the westerns were about, but the impact, you know, was when he starred in Michael Winner's Death Wish movie.
Maybe that's why it was bigger in the UK as well, because of the English director. It was more, you know, it blew up bigger over here as well, didn't it? Death Wish was quite big. I can remember growing up and everyone wanting to watch Death Wish. And
my mum was mad
what
for
all the
that,
hype was
man.
about.
She loved Charles Bronson. Anytime his film came on, she was on it.
He's another Chuck Norris, man. If you know that he's coming on, you're gonna it's gonna be a good film, man.
Yeah, because he's taking people out in the name of justice. You know, he ain't just randomly after people. There's a reason, and I'm on it. And Death Wish, he went all out.
Wicked, they were wicked films, man.
He went all out. Do you remember Death Wish 2?
It's his daughter, wasn't it?
It's his daughter, and Lawrence Fishburne was the villain in that. He was one of the gang members in that.
I forgot that until you said it.
Yeah. That was one of his first movies, man, for Lawrence Fishburne.
Do you reckon Liam Neeson must have watched all them films? Because they're a lot like Taken now, aren't they? That
it is that.
The first one, his missus gets it. Second one, his daughter gets it.
It is that kind of vibe, isn't it? A vigilante man who knows the art of combat.
Yeah.
You know, just like the Equalizer as well.
It's a good story, isn't it? You
just takes people out. The Death Wish movies were good. And again, that's a Cannon production. Cannon's come back again to remind us that they were involved in all action, most action heroes in the 80s. So yeah, he joined the Cannon films, and then he had Death Wish films, and then 10 to Midnight.
10 to Midnight, I remember that one.
In 83, then Evil That Men Do.
The
serial killer. Yeah, 10 to Midnight. It was freaky, you know. That scared me, though.
Man. Yeah, that was a good film, man. I remember.
Mate,
yeah, I remember that when that came out, man.
But in the 80s, it was quite a thing to have those serial killer films that just, you know, he's killing people all through the film, and at the end, no, you know who it is, but he keeps guessing when he's going to catch it.
Yeah, when he's going to
get it. You know what I mean? These dodgy guys are like, music. Mate, that's film, and it was just dark, innit? Every scene was dark.
It was, man.
You know,
it was. And then I remember seeing the one you mentioned, the Evil That Men Do. I remember seeing it in the, I think it was in a video shop, and we used to crack up at it. I don't know why, I think it was just the name of it, like the Evil That Men Do, like
the Evil That Men Do.
Me pants and stuff, and say, "Come on, how sexy is this, man?" Like women do crime as well.
The
Evil That Men Do.
The Evil That Men Do. You know what? I don't think we ever watched it.
I don't know, you know. I think we did.
Because I think we looked at the title, like you're saying, for what the hell's that? You know, but anyway.
I know he was a retired assassin who had to come out of retirement to avenge his mate's death or something. I got a feeling we watched it. I'm sure we watched it.
Yeah, but it got to a point where he had another film called Murphy's Law, and then it got to a point where, like, Bronson films were like, it was a last choice. You know when you can choose 5 videos for the weekend, and you already chose 4 good ones. You're like, I've got to choose a fifth
one.
Yeah, and you go, look at that. Oh, Charles Bronson's got a new one. Mum will like this too.
I was about to say,
exactly.
Mum might watch that. Yeah,
might as well fling that in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, let's get Murphy's Law tonight. Yeah.
For the family to watch.
Consideration for the family. On video night. Yeah, man.
Then there was a Death Wish 3. I don't remember much about it, but I know it was
Death
Michael
Wish 3
Winner's
was
last.
good.
In there 4 as well.
It went on to 5.
There was about 5.
It went on to 5, but Michael Winner only done
good.
1, 2, and 3, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. That was good. That's when they had a bigger budget, and they made a computer game that I loved on the Amstrad.
Yes, I remember that.
It was early day Grand Theft Auto, man.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a wicked game. I loved that game as well.
Loved that game. I loved that.
That was a wicked game.
So yeah, Charles Bronson. He's on the list for those memories of the Death Wish, but you know, again,
great action actor.
Great action. He's one of those guys that if you had it on and your parents walked in and saw Charles Bronson, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the boy's got taste." Do you know what I mean? I was watching this dude as well, and
sit down and watch a bit of this.
He was, even though it was violent films, he was family entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
His films bonded the family in the 80s because everybody liked Charles Bronson. Rated 18. Blowing off people's heads, it's family entertainment. Family together. He did, didn't he? He did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These action heroes put families together.
Big you up, Mr. Charles Bronson. R.I.P. Legend. Our last
Last one to go through.
Our
Another one with a funny
our
name.
last action hero is another funny. Do you want to introduce this guy, Chris?
Right, I'll give you his full name. Do you know his full name?
Tell me.
I'll give you his full name. This guy, you get it from the first bit. But his name's John Claude Camille Francois Van Varenberg.
Is that his name now?
No,
Or that's his name.
we just know him now as Jean Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, or JCBD.
Jay-Z, that sounds like a sexual disease.
It
doesn't
sounds like
it?
Innit?
You can't
I'm
go around
sorry,
saying,
sir. You have JCBD.
oh no, I need a cause light
Innit?
Because I need to do split sideways.
between two ropes.
So
John
JCVD, John Claude Van Damme, born in the 18th of born 18th October 1960, born in Belgium, second Dan black belt in Shatokan karate, kickboxing. He does kickboxing as well, Muay Thai and Taekwondo.
Yeah, a few-
Started martial arts at the age of 10, but then began bumping iron, and then he won Mr. Belgium.
bodybuilding contest.
For a bodybuilding
It
contest.
couldn't have been that big.
Yeah, for his efforts. Yeah, he also studied ballet for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's probably how he does them
You can
sideward
tell from
split
some of
moves.
them. Yeah, you can tell from some of them.
You know,
moves, innit?
but it
He's
wasn't
quite-
until 1982 when he moved to the US to look for an acting career, and he got a part in breakdance. He didn't get a part in breakdance. He was in the back. Guys, you remember Van Damme in the
him and his
background
mate,
of
him and his
breakdance,
mate.
other known as breaking in the US.
and he's doing some.
He's the guy in his vest, just clapping his hands, watching
Doing some
Turbo and
mad shimmy.
Ozone doing their thing. You
It
can't
was him
miss
and his mate Michelle or
Yeah,
Michael.
he does the same dance moves
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's
What
how
he
you
does
can
today.
that's how you can notice Van Damme in breakdance. Remember the moves he does in all his other films, and you can see a guy doing that, and that'll be Van Damme in breakdance. How could you do that move when people are doing windmills, man? What's wrong with you? Just stand still. At least try body pop. Don't do that move,
you don't
VD,
be doing
man.
them ballet moves, man.
Don't do that move, VD.
You know, Canon Films again with breakdancing, man. Canon done lots. They done some wicked films in them
They
days,
did.
didn't they, man?
Yeah,
Canon were
yeah.
running.
But,
it, man.
but they belong in the 80s, though.
They belong in the 80s, yeah. Some of them are a struggle to watch now, but they were wicked in the 80s, man. They were wicked in the 80s.
There's something about that symbol when it came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down,
You knew you were in for,
Move.
you knew you were in for a good movie.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like back then as well, there was a feeling because you know everyone's sitting on the sofa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
sitting
It was an
down
event,
waiting
wasn't it?
for this thing to
Yeah.
happen, and then that
It was
symbol
an
comes up, and it just you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be big.
That's what I mean. It's action. It's explosion. It's yeah.
So around the same time when Cannon's picked him up for a little background job, he's also got a friendship now with Chuck Norris, who we mentioned
That's
earlier.
right. Yeah.
And
He
he's
was
starting
a
to go-
bouncer at his bar, wasn't
Yeah, well, he started sparring with him at first, just hanging about together, and then Chuck said, like, you know, I got a bar, I could do with a bouncer or a doorman, a bit like Mr. T.
he?
And yeah, like you said, that's how he got his first sort of big paid work, working for Chuck Norris, bouncing on his club door.
Yeah, man.
From
they-
that,
The Canon
from
link
that-
was there, man.
yeah, it was linked. And from that, Chuck gave him a go in his stunt team, and he was one of the stuntmen for the first Missing in Action.
That's
So
right.
We probably saw him in Missing in Action, not
Yeah.
knowing who he was at that time. You
Yeah.
wouldn't recognise the guy at a breakdance because he was hardly recognisable in breakdance at the
Yeah.
time for us.
Yeah.
Really.
He had to be doing that dance move for us.
He probably was. He was probably in the middle of the jungle doing that dance move in his leotard.
Yeah.
We just didn't clock him, man. He blended into the foliage.
On the top of the trees, because that's probably kind of like the reason why he got the role to be Predator.
Yeah,
and that's
could
just
be.
nuts.
Yeah.
How when you think about it now, he's much shorter than Schwarzenegger. So how would that have worked? So
it
like,
wouldn't have worked at all, would it?
because
man?
I heard the costume was a lot different though. It was a lot different
Yeah.
than what we saw now.
Yeah,
but
I've seen some pictures of it. And it did look more.
and it looks like a
alien-looking.
bug. It looks like a
It
big
looked
bug,
weird. Yeah, it looked like a bug.
like a bug from Doctor Who or something.
Yeah, it
You know
didn't
what I mean?
look
So,
good at all.
it-
Compared
it-
to what you're used to, it didn't look good at all. But
Yeah.
he moaned a lot, didn't he? He moaned
Yeah.
about the weight of it and he can't
It's not
breathe in it.
comfortable. Yeah.
It's itchy and I'm sweating, and so I
Yeah.
think they were just like, man, this guy's just moaning too much.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah,
get rid of him
He's not
get
even a star, and he's moaning. Yeah,
No, yeah, and that was another thing because his face weren't going to be in the film. I think he had a big problem with that, didn't he? He's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to appear on camera. Like, what?
yeah.
You're not going to see me out of this suit. They were like, no, you're a fucking monster.
You're an alien.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
They hired him thinking he's going to be doing backflips and splits in between two trees and stuff,
Yeah,
which is what they wanted him for.
my big chance to be in a movie with Schwarzenegger, and then he's not.
They got rid of him and got Kevin Peter Hall in, who was, you know, he had the build, the size to carry the costume, wear the weight, and you know, do a good job in it.
Exactly. But you know, but it wasn't until we saw him in No Retreat, No Surrender.
Yeah, the first time we saw him, 86 was that? I think
86. Yeah.
New
There's,
World Pictures.
Ivan Stravinsky, I think, and
Was that his name?
and that's Ivan. When we saw the trailer, we watched an entertainment and video film, and then before the film comes on, we've seen these trailers. I remember seeing a No Retreat, No Surrender trailer, and
it's hard to say them words without saying no retreat, no surrender. I just want to say it like that all the time.
Yeah.
and then he done those classic splits in the ring.
Yeah, and the
He
ropes.
goes, "Who's
again.
that dude folding his arms doing those splits, man?" And then he rolled forward. Remember? We said, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah,
And,
he rolls into the ring. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, but he's only in the film for about 15 minutes, but
Yeah,
he was on the front cover of the it looked like a cover of Street Fighter versus
Yeah.
Ken versus Ryo.
He had, like, the white gloves
both
on,
facing
didn't he?
off each other.
yeah.
Both facing off each other type of cover. It was a crap film, great at the time. We've already talked about it before.
Oh yeah, great.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
Wicked film. Yeah,
You guys ain't seen it, see it. If you want to laugh, just see it.
it is a laugh, and you've got to look at it. It is a laugh film, but
We
it's
first saw him in that, and then in Black Eagle.
Black Eagle was his next one, which I loved because
Oh,
it
see, I
showed
didn't
know
Kazuski.
Yeah,
Wicked
Sho
film,
Kozuki.
man.
And that was that a Canon film?
Again, I think it was Canon.
Well, no, Sho
man.
Kozuki, he was part of the Canon.
He was,
group
yeah,
as
he
well,
was
wasn't
part of the Canon.
Yeah, so it must have been that. And then do you know after that he was offered the role of either Delta Force 2, American Ninja 3, or Cyborg. And we know what
He went
happened
for
after
he
that.
was in
He
Cyborg.
went for
wasn't
Cyborg. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went for Cyborg.
I didn't know he was an American Ninja 3.
Yeah, I didn't really like Cyborg.
No, I didn't like Cyborg. Out of the 80s films, to me, it was Kickboxer, Black Eagle, and Bloodsport. They were the three.
Bloodsport.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say
that I liked.
Bloodsport was the
I
one.
think Bloodsport was the film.
Is his
That-
best film, I think.
Yeah.
Probably, isn't
I
it?
think that's his
When I
best
saw
film.
that, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
now
because it's
now-
based on a true story is why I like it as well. That made it feel a bit
Yeah.
like Enter
It's
the
more
Dragon. Innit? He was
interesting.
going
It's more
away to
interesting.
fight in this competition.
Yeah.
It was good. And
I did like Bloodsport.
based on a true story.
It weren't corny like how Kickboxer was corny.
No,
Mm.
no.
Kickboxer was like corn on the cob, mate. It was just, do you know what I mean? What this
Yeah,
tree?
yeah, no, for real. I
But,
do.
you know, and he done those famous dance moves. Do those moves you're doing breakdance. Do that for this bar scene. Come on, man. You don't need to see that again, man.
I don't see it. I don't see you dancing, man. Doing
Yeah.
the ballet.
But I think for me the best film I've seen him is Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
What
so
do
it's
you guys
definitely them
reckon?
early
Is
films
that-
up until Bloodsport.
Is that your lot's favourite film for me?
Yeah, standalone film for him. Yeah, I think that I can vaguely remember and I liked AWOL. I think that was 90s though. but-
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember thinking. I'm
I
sure
didn't
that
like
weren't
when he
too
started
bad.
to do AWOL, Hard Target, Time
Yeah,
Cop,
double impacts or whatever. Yeah,
Oh,
they were
Time Cop is weak.
time cops. Yeah, I weren't.
Street Fighter was this.
Oh, that
No,
was
I
bad,
don't even
wasn't it?
mention that.
You know what
That
I
was
mean?
bad.
Mention that.
Horrible film.
That was
film.
bad,
Absolutely.
that was bad.
But
I think he sort of realised this as well because he went on in the noughties to sort of do like a reality show, innit? Sort of taking the piss out of himself, really, wasn't it?
yes, I am JVCD. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Something
So,
like that?
so
yeah.
I think he did get the idea that, especially with the Coors Lights adverts, you know,
Yeah.
they were piss takes out.
There were piss takes of Hard Target. We had that.
Yeah, they were hard
long hair.
Yeah, the
Mullet and that.
denim on denim that
Yeah,
just don't,
yeah.
shouldn't be seen.
And
Yes.
he was in one of the Expendables movies, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it was 2. I think it might have been Expendables 2. One of those. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Van
definitely.
Damme. It's like even though most of these films we're talking about are 90s, you know, we first saw him in the 80s from No Retreat, No Surrender and Bloodsport, and you know
They were
that's
good
what was
films,
in it.
man.
Yeah.
Black Eagle, wicked films, man.
Yeah. Anything
Did you
else
know
wanna
as
say
well? I
about
don't know
him?
if you knew this. Did you know he was originally supposed to be Simon Phoenix in Demolition Man?
Was it?
And
Okay.
he pulled out of it apparently, which was why Wesley Snipes took over. So I don't know. I can't imagine Wesley Snipes suits that role so well. I thought that was, you know, his role, man, written for him. But yeah, it was written for Van Damme.
Van Damme. Oh,
That would have been odd. That would have been odd.
Yeah. But see, he sounds like a fussy guy. What? Like, he complains he can't be Predator, but you can't see his face. And then he gets Demolition Man.
Good film.
And he doesn't take it. Yeah. Like, for me, he didn't make no great movies in the 90s. And you know, the impact for me.
90s was Universal Soldier was his big one, but that only had hype because they hyped it up at the Cannes Film Festival that him and Lundgren had a fight or something, didn't they? They had a little pushing, shoving match, and everyone said, "Oh, they had a fight in real life." So that made the hype for wanting to watch Universal Soldier. But again, it wasn't great.
Publicity.
Yeah, did you guys like that movie?
Nah,
not really.
Nah, I didn't like that movie, man. It was just
it was all the dialogue was sort of you couldn't understand it, and it was all set at night fighting in rain. Is from what I can remember. People falling on combine harvesters and stuff. Mid to late 80s, then up until sort of Bloodsport.
Yeah, as corny as Bloodsport was, that's still one of his films you're going to remember him for, man.
So that's why he's in there for us.
That's why he's in there for us. For No Trees No Surrender, Black Eagle. Yeah, the 80s stuff he done, man. You know, he done his thing. You know, done his thing as an action hero, man. And you know, good on you, JCVD.
I've got some cream for that if you need.
Love JCVD. Get some Chris Cream. Get Chris Cream from Ulster Movement.
Your JCVD.
That don't sound good either, man. You coming out with some bad things in this podcast today.
Dun, 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 dun. Chris Cream. Hi, my name is Jean-Claude Van Damme. I use Chris Cream. So I got JCVD.
Use the cream, stop the burn.
Oh, you been dancing like me all night.
Biggest some of that cream in quick. You know what he does it like that, mate.
You know what I mean? People were like, damn, I gotta get some cream. I don't be like that. So that was our 5 for part 2. As we were saying, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we're just giving our 2 pence of guys that, you know, were part of our childhood when we were watching movies.
Whether it was one film, one TV program.
Watch one film, yeah, you know.
100 films. If they had an impact, they're going to get in there, innit?
That's it. So, or maybe, guys, you can suggest some action heroes that you think we should talk about.
Give you our thoughts on what we think.
Yeah.
Good idea.
You know what I mean? But make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah,
drop in the comments. Yeah. And where can they find us again, Chris?
Find us on our website, www.oldschoolmovements.co.uk. Find us on SoundCloud or any other podcast platform that you use. All the big ones, we're there. If you've got one of them speakers you can chat to, tell her to play Old School Movements. She'll do it for you. Can't be easy.
I'll do it for you. Old School Movements coming up. Okay. Guys, thank you for listening again. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for your lovely comments. We love you all. And we're going to keep giving you the old school flavor. We're going to keep taking you back to nostalgic journeys of the 1980s. That's how good we are. It's not even sound effects. We've done that.
That's the fade.
We've done that. Peace.
Till next time. Peace.
There it is.